what I'd like to do right now is I'd like to introduce the director of the organization that made Grassroots North Carolina happen, Gun Owners of America. Back in 1994, as I cast about to do something about the gun control, the so-called assault weapons ban that had just passed, and I wanted to get involved and do something, I called Larry Pratt at Gun Owners of America, and he took my call. And he gave me direction, including loaning us the advice of their excellent lawyer, Mike Hammond, who helped us incorporate Grassroots North Carolina and make the organization the most effective gun rights organization in the state. And we adopted their model of being a no-compromise gun rights organization. And in fact, we have for many years had a letter of cooperation between Gun Owners of America and Grassroots North Carolina. The most recent director of Gun Owners of America, Erich Pratt, has succeeded his father and is doing a wonderful job of revitalizing the organization and bringing it in, changing some of its methods and, quite frankly, making it even more effective, even though it has always been perhaps the most effective gun rights organization in the country. And so I bring you Gun Owners of America Director Erich Pratt.
Well, thank you all. It is great to be here. You all look cold. But I really appreciate the fact that you're here. Just quick show of hands. How many of you all get Gun Owners of America email alerts? I'd be curious. That is, I wish we could pan the room with the cameras. That is great to see. Thank you so much for your activism. I mean, it shows you're active, the fact that you would be here today on such a cold day. Is it always like this in North Carolina? I woke up in Virginia, so it was colder there. Anyway, as Paul was telling you, we are fighting for our rights, Second Amendment rights in the nation's capital. And as you can imagine, these past couple of years has been quite a battle. In Washington, we are facing the most rabid, the most anti-gun administration that has ever possessed the White House. And when I use that word possessed, I think that has connotations for what other things may be going on there at the White House. But anyway, I mean, this fight against Biden and the Schumer-Pelosi Congress has obviously been a full-time job. It's obviously nice when you can get away and kind of enjoy your rights and spend a day enjoying our freedoms. Anybody here going to be involved in the competition? Anybody doing that for the first time ever? Awesome. That's really good to see. Well, I want to give a big thanks to Paul Vallone for inviting Gun Owners of America to be here. Grassroots North Carolina is doing a great job in the state. In fact, we've been busy working with them. In addition to having a long-standing partnership, we've worked with them on certain battles. There's a case here, not here, but in Mecklenburg County, where the sheriff is slow walking both pistol permits and concealed carry permits. He's not here today, is he, the sheriff? No. Okay. I didn't think so. This wouldn't be his cup of tea. I'd want to talk to him if you... But anyway, so we're working with Grassroots North Carolina to take them to court. The case is still in process, so unfortunately I don't have a final disposition to give you. But I mean, this is the kind of thing that we're doing together to advance gun rights in the state. And so it's been a real pleasure to do that. But I gotta say, quite frankly, gun rights, and you probably know this, gun rights in North Carolina are lagging behind a lot of the other states in the South and in the Southeast. I mean, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, they all have constitutional carry right now, right? Don't forget Kentucky, West Virginia, they've got constitutional carry too. We're just days away from seeing Georgia get it. Governor Brian Kemp has said he's going to sign their bill into law on Tuesday. Down in Florida, Ron DeSantis, he's telling the legislature, give me a special session and send me constitutional carry. So lots of constitutional carry happening all around the country, especially in the South. where is North Carolina in all of this? I mean, this is something that we got to change. I mean, why is it that North Carolina still has Jim Crow era requirements when it comes to pistol purchase permits and concealed carry permits? That's not right. Now, let me just back up for a second. I assume, especially for a crowd like this, that everybody understands what I mean when I say constitutional carry. And don't feel bad if you don't understand. I was in a meeting just recently. In fact, Senator Bud to-be was there at the meeting, and one of this was all pro-gun congressman, and it wasn't him who asked the question, but another congressman said, when you say constitutional carry, what do you mean by that? So I don't want to assume everybody understands what I'm saying when I use that term. Quite simply, constitutional carry means that you can carry a firearm without permission. It is permitless carry. You can do it because it is your God-given right to do so. Our Declaration of Independence says that everyone is endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. So you know what that means. Our rights come from God, the Creator. You can carry without permission from the government because it's your God-given right, and besides, because the Second Amendment says, shall not be infringed, right? You know, it's kind of funny. Opponents of constitutional carry, they argue against this and say, no, if you pass a law like that, it's going to allow criminals to carry guns. That's the proper response, by the way, is laughter. Like, haven't they been doing that anyway? Isn't that why they're criminals? Yeah, what a stupid argument. But anyway, back to North Carolina. Yeah, you guys are lagging behind some of the other surrounding states. This should make you very jealous. I'm from Virginia. We're also lagging in that sense too. But hopefully help is right around the corner. The state house and Senate are up for election this year. Of course, that makes the November elections very important this year for both state and federal offices. I know Grassroots North Carolina is going to be involved in a big way, which is why they need your financial help. Gun Owners of America is also going to be involved in North Carolina as well. So together we're going to be surveying candidates. We're going to be mobilizing voters to vote for those that are supporting our Second Amendment rights. And of course, we know this is important because elections have consequences, and that's why we need to elect more good people to office. But I just want to tell, and if you guys, you know, most of you, it looked like we're getting our alerts, so you know this to be true. But you can't just get good people elected and then think that we can just wind them up, send them to Raleigh or Washington, D.C., and then forget about them. No, you've got to keep a watch on them. And you, the voter, you have a very important role to fulfill all year round. And so I want to give you an example of what I'm talking about, and just let this serve as an example that kind of put a bug in your ear. So this example comes from this past fall. It involved a battle where our grassroots activists got very engaged, and we were able to kill a gun confiscation provision. It had been put, and if you're getting our alerts, you remember this. Anti-gun congressman had put this gun confiscation provision into a National Defense Authorization Act. This is a bill that's got to be passed every year. It's a must-pass bill. And so the anti-gunners took this as an opportunity to put in some of their junk. So if you're not familiar with red flag gun confiscation, basically it's you can have your guns taken from you just based solely on somebody leveling an accusation against you. So you don't get your day in court. You don't have an attorney to represent you. You don't even have trial by jury. All that may come later after your guns are taken, but your guns can be taken just simply based on that false accusation. So this is a bad news bill that they were trying to insert into a much bigger bill. Well, to make matters worse, more than 100 Republicans voted for that anti-gun bill. Many of those Republicans come from this state. Did you know that? Now, not Representatives Budd and Bishop. They were the two exceptions to what I just said. Both of them voted against the gun confiscation provision. So kudos to them for doing the right thing. Kudos to them for their courage. Because let's face it, you know how it can be tough when you want to do the right thing, but everybody around you who's kind of on your side is doing the wrong thing, and you feel that pull. So kudos to those two, Budd and Bishop, for doing the right thing and voting the right way, voting against gun confiscation. But most of the Republicans in the state, and many Republicans around the country sadly voted for it. Anyway, this is where the whole story gets exciting, though. See, this is where you guys come in. The House vote was just the first vote, okay? If you remember your civics, after it passes one chamber, it's got to go to the other, right? So it was going to the Senate, and during that time, Gun Owners of America started beating up on a lot of these congressmen, and, we were rallying our members, and they just started bombarding the compromising congressmen. I mean, they blasted them on social media, they blasted them in person. Anywhere and everywhere they showed their faces, they got blasted. The backlash was so strong that it spurred a quick about-face 1 week later, and this was in a letter that was made public. 163 House Republicans announced their opposition to the red flags provision and said that had to be taken out of the bill. By the way, it's 163 House Republicans, many of whom had just voted for that anti-gun provision. Now they're demanding that it be taken out. Well, many of your North Carolina delegation put their names to that letter. That was a good thing. And thankfully, that pressure forced that provision to be removed from the bill. And so the final legislation to authorize funding for our military went to the president without that gun confiscation provision in it. And that is a testimony to what the grassroots can do. It really is. I mean, you guys made that happen by hammering them the way you guys did. So keeping them accountable is really important. And that's why I say that your job doesn't just end in November. I cast my ballot for the best guy. You've got to get engaged, and the best way to do that is not only to be getting our emails and Gun Rights North Carolina, but also to be taking action on them as well. And I know a lot of you all are doing that, and so I'm very thankful for that. If you're not, by the way, just go to gunowners.org. That's the easiest place to sign up for our alerts. Anyway, activism is really important for us at Gun Owners of America. It is for Gun Rights North Carolina as well. It's really important because we cannot go to sleep. We just can't. We got to stay active. In fact, I just we have dueling books here. So we have rules for anti-gun radicals. I just finished authoring a book, Firing Back: How to Counter Anti-Gun Propaganda and Become a Better Second Amendment Activist. And you can get it there at our table. Thank you. Thank you for that, but I haven't even told you what it's about. I guess the title kind of describes itself, right? Dick Heller read the book, the Dick Heller, and he told me he really liked it. He said, this book really shows how we can win back our rights one heart at a time. And the reason is because it shows people how they can make a difference even without leaving their home, how we can make a difference on the national scene to protect our Second Amendment rights. And again, that's what Gun Owners of America is all about. We're all about encouraging that activism and making it easy for people. It's funny, one congressman who was at that meeting that I just told you about, he got a copy of the book. He read it on the plane coming, he went back to his home state on the plane back, he read it, and he texted me. And he said, he really liked the book because, it shoots down a lot of anti-gun myths and also shows how important firearms are to keeping a country free. And so he told me, he said, we should purchase one of these books for every Democrat congressman in the House and put it in their Christmas stocking. I don't know, they might view that as kind of like coal in their stocking, but it would be more useful than coal in the stocking, I suppose. But anyway, if you have any anti-gunners in your life, it might be good for them too. You know, you've got Father's and Mother's Day coming right around the corner in a couple months, so good time for that. But for us who are already sold on Second Amendment protected rights, it's also good for us because it does give practical examples of how we can really engage our culture and really have an impact. Let me end with this. I've already mentioned it. This November is very important. As I said already, and you know this, the House and the state Senate are up for election. Obviously, Congress and the U.S. Senate, Gun Owners of America, has also endorsed Representative Budd for Senate. You've heard from some of the judges and some other judge candidates who are speaking, and you know, I haven't had a chance to meet them all, but you know, we need to support those who are going to be supporting our Second Amendment rights. And of course, you know, sadly, Mark Robinson wasn't able to make it here today, but you know, it would have been nice to have the next governor from North Carolina here, right? Yeah. But let me just say this. Realize that by supporting Grassroots North Carolina, you are helping to support all these candidates. I mean, I don't want to limit your activism to just being here today. There's more that you can do to help these candidates, but realize that at a minimum, supporting Grassroots North Carolina helps to put good people into office. So again, I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for your support for the cause, for the Second Amendment cause. Now let's work together to get even more people engaged, and let's help bring North Carolina into the 21st century when it comes to gun rights. Thank you.